And welcome back. This is Baller Scuba with more Radical Dreamers. When we last left off, we completed scenario number 3, 2 different ways, at least. We do have Kid and the Sunflower now done. So we are going to move on to scenario number 4, and hopefully we can get this one done without too much difficulty. So we're going to start just like any other scenario, and we are going to do fast text speed. It just seems so much better than doing it with normal text speed. So we start off just like we always do, with Kid's braid swaying gently from side to side. So gently, in fact, it possibly puts us to sleep, but we will get to that pretty shortly here. It's swinging back and forth. It's hypnotizing. I'm entranced because I'm in love with her, I guess. So let's give in to sleep, because if she falls asleep too, then it's like we slept together. See, that's a terrible joke. But we will move on as if I didn't say it. So we do fall asleep, and then she wakes us up out in front of Viper Manor yet again. So nothing too new here, but as you might expect, we haven't really gotten to the part where we can actually do new things. You know, wait up. She's already deep inside. The darkness engulfs me. But our next decision is which way to go. Uh-oh, there's a light. We could follow the light, but remember we did that before. So we are going to do something different this time. She's only barely visible. Better go catch up with her right away. After a while, the path splits into 3 directions. To the left is a descending staircase, while the path on the right extends into darkness. Another passage lies ahead. We actually want to turn right. It ends at the study, which is where we are headed yet again. So we will head in. And see what we can find that is possibly new. Remember, every time so far we have checked the desk, but this time we're actually going to check something a little different. A painting is hung on the rear wall, sharing space with various exotic curios. Let's check out that painting. I walk over and examine the painting, illuminated by this pale moonlight. It's an oil painting of a very strange landscape. Never seen anything quite like it before. It's a depiction of an endless scorched desert filled with red sand stretching out to the horizon. There, unbelievably tall mountains soar upwards for miles and miles, meeting a blazing orange sky. It seems surreal, almost out of this world. Oh, it's a dolly. But even more than that, it seems like a very sad, lonely painting, as if it's depicting a fleeting memory of a desolate soul. What kind of person could have painted this? I'm still going with Salvador Dali here. And furthermore, why is it here in the study? None of the other stuff around here matches it. Noticing me, Majel comes to my side. Sorry. I guess I got distracted. Noticing his sharp gaze, I get the feeling he's going to berate me for my stupidity, getting caught up with a silly painting like this while we're in enemy territory. However, I'm mistaken. Even after I start to walk away, Majel doesn't seem to budge, still staring up at the painting. I looked back at him and suddenly realized what's going on. Usually I'm at a loss to what he's thinking. Up until now, that was the way it was. But at this very moment, I completely understand him. Majel is burning. What? A slight glow has started to radiate all around him. It seems like his fury has somehow tapped into the force of Maxwell's demon, allowing him to violate the second law of thermodynamics. Not the second law! Actually, no. It's as though the helium and hydrogen-free atoms drifting around the area are somehow causing a thermonuclear fusion reaction. The neutrinos of a reaction like this could be visible even in a cup of water. You can't see neutrinos. Fascinating. The look on his face is the same cold expression he always wears. However, his internal temperature has clearly risen by more than a few degrees. Serge, if anything should ever happen to me, please take care of Kid. But before I can even get the chance to ask him what he means. His face turns red, his blood hot as lava, as though he's being stripped down to some sort of primal awareness, ready to attack whatever comes his way. Finally, after all of these years, I have you. He repeats over and over again, continuing to stare at the strange painting. His sharp, radiant gaze seems to pierce through the painting and beyond the mansion wall, as if he's seeing straight into the ethereal demiurge, Father Time himself. Behind that mysterious porcelain mask of his lies a consciousness on the brink of critical mass, somehow innately prepared for this very day, for this very moment. Hey, Kid says as the flames start to take on a blue hue, like that of a Cherenkov reaction. If you keep on burning like that, you're gonna get us spotted. That's apparently her only concern. Suddenly noticing Magel's intensity, a giant sweat drop appears on her cheek as a vein at her temple starts to throb prominently. Women, will they ever truly understand the true nature of males? What the hell does this have to do with anything? Kid, Magel is on the verge of something big here. If you're any kind of wife, you'll at least console him with one of your bittersweet smiles. Okay, this is clearly a dream. Magel and Kid are not married. Whap! Ugh. Hey, snap out of it, mate! Kid had gone to the trouble of removing one of her high-laced boots and hitting me over the head with it. I awake from my daze, rubbing my head. Really? Her high-laced boots? Maybe, I guess. Huh? What the heck? I was only joking around, Kid. What's going on with Magel? Kid asks. I don't really know, but something's been awakened inside of him. Something fierce. I think he sees something in that painting. Maybe Lynx himself. I say, pointing to the bizarre painting as the 50 cc's of blood per second routinely flows through my temples. 50 cubic centimeters? Is 50 cc's of blood. Okay, let's go with that. That thing is just a stupid picture of a desert, she yells, beyond bewildered. At any rate, Magel remains transfixed on the glossy oil canvas, glowing with that pale blue radiance all around him. Suddenly, something even stranger happens. His right fist explodes into a ball of blue fire. After the flames abate, a strange symbol has emerged on the back of his hand. Two diagonally crossed broadswords with an S shape in the middle, interlocking the blades. Kid, Surge, we will no longer have to worry about keys, he says as the pale blue glow continues to radiate from his body. Ah, Magel, always good for some quality gobbledygook. Okay, so I haven't seen one of those in years. There's that. I don't know how to say that. It's a little face. Magel turns and walks back towards the entranceway. There he holds out his hand, and after a few moments, the door starts to burn. I rush over, eager to see what's going on. What I see next amazes me. Nothing but a hole remains in the space where the door handle once was. Easily pushing the rest of the door open, we follow Magel out of the room. Well, we leave the study, retracing our steps through the dark passageway. Finally, the passage comes to a three-way branch. There's a descending staircase in front of us, in addition to passageways on the right and left. The one on the left will take us back towards the terrace. Now, apparently we're just going to ignore the rest. We are going to head towards the terrace. After continuing on through the passage for a while, the terrace comes into view on the right. I take a deep breath of the fresh evening air, hoping to calm my senses. Now we actually do need to calm our senses. Let's continue on. We make our way down the dimly lit passageway. After a few moments, we come to an old dusty door on the right. This is the clock tower storeroom. We are going to ignore it. Quiet as a church mouse. No one's there, mate. Except there totally is somebody there. We are going to keep going down the hallway for the time being. Proceeding ahead on the path, we come to a staircase going up and a firm-looking set of doors on the left. This is the treasure vault, if you remember. And you can tell because Kid can smell it. There better be treasure here. The smell of gold's thick in the air, mate. Here we do want to go inside. Magel steps towards the door with his burning hand extended. The instant his glowing blue palm touches the door, the lock simply disappears. Whoa, Major, why didn't you ever use that hand of yours before? Kid purses her lips, slipping silently into the treasure vault. I don't know why she would purse her lips there, but she did. The hole left by Magel's new magic is perfectly round with smooth edges, almost as though it had been cut with an incredibly sharp blade. Also, there doesn't seem to be a single scrap of wood left on the floor. Even I don't know where the scraps go, he says from behind me as I enter through the doorway. He also apparently reads minds. Taking our first few steps inside, Kid whistles out loud in admiration. Cripes, look at all this loot! I'm taken aback as well, despite the fact that this room smells like insecticide that's been kept alone in a drawer for years and years, faintly visible in the dim light. A mountain of gold and silver treasure, countless works of fine art, and other shimmering artifacts fill the spacious room. Major walks around, amazed at all the items scattered about the room. Oddly enough, he starts to go crazy over some of the more eclectic, less valuable-looking items. A statue of the hero Kaful from the planet Taurus, a stuffed Dharmaphos from Saturn, a Trifid worm plant from Greylands, Krendethu royal jelly on a life maker inscribed plate, the Apostle's crystal. And what's that over there? Could it really be a genuine Swiss army knife embedded with Zora's blue stone? Until we got to the Zora, I didn't pick up most of these references. I feel that they are references. I had no idea he knew about all this kind of stuff. I had no idea there was anybody out there who knew about junk like this so much. Hey, looky what we have here, Kid says, walking over to an old movie camera. Feeling a bit camera-friendly, she stretches out across the treasure, posing with a somewhat awkward smile for the camera. Oh, we're taking some pictures. The teleprompter's not in order, mutters Majel, abandoning the clunky machine he'd been checking out. What's going on here? Once again, because we fell asleep, I can safely assume this is a dream, but one hell of a dream. Suddenly, there's a noise over in the far corner. I look over, seeing one of the items suddenly being knocked over. None of us are anywhere near it, though. I unsheath my knife as Kid and I exchange glances. She goes to check it out, taking careful, quiet steps. Ah, hell, it's just the assistant director, she says. You bumbling crew, always getting in the way. The assistant director tries to explain, but is cut off by Kid. You're gonna make me screw up my lines, Kid continues. And besides, can't you see we're right in the middle of a great find here? And give me an Evian for crying out loud. But then something catches my eye. Over in the back of the room, behind the Clare Bible and Ideonite that the assistant director had knocked over, a shimmering red light streaks out, barely visible behind all the items. The frozen flame. On an intricate pedestal sits a magnificent scarlet crystal. It's so perfectly radiant, it seems as though it's unreal, like a product of polygon technology. It slowly rotates on the pedestal, beckoning us. Halt, it may be dangerous. Majel extends his faintly glowing hand out towards Kid, yanking her back just as she's about to grab the fabled item. Easy, Majel. Remember what that hand of yours can do. But then, the scarlet jewel suddenly vanishes into thin air. We stare at each other, confused. Majel approaches the pedestal a few moments later, using his hand to burn a hole into the top of the platform. We peer down inside of it. There, amongst an array of mechanical equipment, we see a circuit controlling the revolving pedestal and another controlling a red light of some sort, flickering on and off. A hologram, a fake, just as I expected, Majel says, looking around by the back of the pedestal. Here's the cord, he says, following along its path. Should lead us to. Aha, he says, stopping at a wall where the cord goes into. There we find nothing but the stagehand, fumbling around with the power outlets. The short Oriental man looks up at us with a worried look on his face. You worthless piece of garbage, Kid yells, shaking the stagehand by the neck. What'd you do with the real frozen flame? Come on, Kid, I say. He wouldn't know anything about anything that important. He was probably just trying to fix the lighting in here and tripped over the frozen flame's cord. Kid reluctantly releases her grip from the stagehand's neck, who gives a nervous, apologetic smile to us all before quickly scampering away. And get me an Evian already, she yells as she scurries out of sight. Really, it's Pellegrino these days? The real flame's gotta be around here somewhere. I have a feeling the real flame would not be stored in such an easily obtainable place, kid. We should search elsewhere. Aye. We say goodbye to the treasure vault for now, resuming our search.